Welcome to another episode of the Absolute Home Service Podcast, where our mission is to help empower homeowners with the information to make the best decisions on any service they could possibly need. And now, let's join Vince and James and today's guest.
All right, welcome to another episode of the Absolute Home Service Podcast. I'm Vince Hauser, one of the co-hosts, here with James McCarter. And today we are going to be interviewing Jeff with Bright Pest Control.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Good morning, Jeff. How you doing?
Oh, not too bad. Can't complain.
Hey, so tell us a little bit about yourself and your company. How long you guys been around? How you got into the business?
Well, to be honest, it's kind of a funny story. I actually used to be from the bartending restaurant circuit, and basically I met the
There's
owners.
a lot of roaches in there.
Oh, yeah. You're going to get me started on that. That's a whole nother story we don't have time for. But, yeah, I met the owners through there, and never in a million years would I have thought I'd love being a bug man. That was nowhere on my radar. Been doing it just over 8 years now and never looked back. And but yeah, I met the Brights, and they're a nice family-oriented business.
Right.
They provided me with all the training, and I couldn't look back. They really took care of me as family.
So y'all are family owned, locally operated.
Yeah, we're locally through the Louisville, Indiana, southern Indiana area. Family run. It started just over 30 years ago.
Wow.
And started with the dad, and now it's since passed on to the siblings that run it now.
Now, you all are doing different kind of pests that are in the home. What kind of pests are likely in my home?
You're going to look at the standard house centipedes, cellar spiders, crickets. You know, your exterior walls might have those roly-polies, pill bugs.
Are you sure you're not from Kentucky?
Yeah.
You said roly-poly. I thought that was only a Kentucky thing.
That's a nationwide thing, man.
So what else? So the little potato bugs, as I believe that's actually another name for them, right?
Oh, there's actually like 15 different names I've heard of them.
Let's just keep them out.
Pill bug is the technical name for them.
Pill bug.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that one, but that is pretty accurate.
I've never heard that either.
Yeah, me neither. So we've got different kind of bugs and wasps and things like that.
Yeah.
So it's what mice, rodents, things like that too.
Of course, yes.
So you mentioned that y'all are family owned. You're local here to Louisville. What is the difference, if any, between a national like a chain or a franchise versus a locally owned company like yourself?
Well, I mean, me personally, passion is the first thing that comes to mind. The bigger the business, in my personal belief, the less passion is behind the work that's done. That is something that definitely stands out with me. Also, when you get with these nationwide companies, they tend to don't have so much knowledge as to what's going on locally as far as the local pests for that region. They have more of a broad knowledge across the nation. Don't hold me to that. That's just my personal beliefs, but it seems to be true in most part. Other than that, but yeah, with this family-owned business, when you get one of our technicians, you're going to get passion behind it. We're actually interested in what the problem is, what kind of bug it is. We can give you some valuable information as well as address the situation.
You're going to get somebody in there that cares.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, what type of criteria should we be looking for when choosing a pest control company?
Well, of course, other than, I believe the smaller the better, because they get more passion behind their work. But also, I've always been a believer, look at the reviews. The online reviews, people are honest about that. They're going to tell you what they truly believe. And I'd be lying if I'd say we got some bad ones on there too. But you're going to get people's honest opinion. Also, word of mouth is the best form of advertising. You ask your friends, you ask your neighbors, they're gonna tell you a good company to go with.
How big of a service area do you all cover?
I've gone about an hour north into Indiana, and I've gone a couple hours south, almost to Lexington. We'll go wherever people need us. We're always looking to expand our area.
Now, in our general area here, How do you go about determining what, if any, pests are in my home?
Well, I can tell you right now, without seeing your home, you got bugs. That's just a fact.
Don't tell me that.
Every house has them. But fortunately, they like to stay hidden. So as far as determining if you have any bugs or pests in your house, obviously you're going to want to look for the pest itself. If you're not seeing anything there, droppings are another good indication. Other than that, consulting a professional is probably your best route, because a trained eye is always your best way of determining what's going on.
Now, the pill bugs or the centipedes, how do you know if you have those? Other than getting the absolute hell scared out of you when something with 400 legs comes running out in front of you, not seeing it, do they leave any kind of tracings or anything like that?
They do, but it's nothing you're going to really, it's going to go unnoticed. We're talking minor fecal spots along the baseboards, stuff like that. Nothing you're going to see obvious. You might be able to find a molt, which is their exoskeleton when they go from stage to stage. But other than that, you're not really going to see too much.
So with being that I now know I have bugs in my house.
Yep.
So what should I do? I mean, is this I call up Bright and say, hey, Jeff told me that I got bugs in my house.
Yeah.
So what's the prescription to that?
Well, it depends on your comfort level. Did I make you uncomfortable now hearing that?
Well, I wouldn't be asking the question if
Right.
I wasn't uncomfortable.
Well, here's the fact: is that with your comfort level, a lot of insects, they don't want nothing to do with us. They're just doing their own thing. We're doing our own thing.
You're a pretty intimidating guy, so.
That is a first. That's the first time I've ever heard that in my life. But no, these bugs, they don't want nothing to do with us. That's the fact. Our paths do cross every now and then. People see them, they freak out, they don't want them. Our job is to make sure that you can live in your house comfortably. Of course, that term exterminator no longer exists because they're looking for complete zero eradication. That is not a reality anymore. We're going to keep the bugs at a controlled level to where you will very rarely see them, and so that you can live comfortably.
So is that typically weekly, monthly, bi-monthly? What's that schedule look like?
It all varies, of course, on the target pest. You know, certain, I hate even saying it, it makes people cringe, but you know, certain jobs like bed bugs or roaches, you know, that's going to take more intense time. But certain general pests, such as those centipedes and pill bugs, we can definitely manage with single service. Some people do. Others will go on maintenance programs where we just come out once every 3 months.
Okay.
So it all depends on what pest we're going after.
Now, is that something that you guys actually recommend to go on? Like taking comfort level aside,
Yes.
right? You know, for example, like on the garage door side, we recommend that you get us out here to maintenance your garage every year. That's just going to increase the longevity of everything involved. Do you all recommend going every 3 months or every 6 months or once a year, anything like that?
Yes, we definitely recommend going at least every 3 months. That is our strong recommendation, just because of the time length of the product. That's about how long you'll get a residual effect from it.
And now, these different types of treatments that you guys offer, well, first off, what different types of treatments do you offer? Like different kind of like pesticides or different controlling, I guess, factors that you all would use?
Sure. Well, we use both liquid and dry application methods. We do baiting as well. We'll put out monitoring devices to see what's going on when people, like what's going on at night when people aren't active. And so we'll use many different tools in our arsenal to address and figure out what's going on at your house.
Is the liquid or dry, is one better than the other?
No, they're pretty much identical as far as effectiveness. It's just where you apply them. Different places apply different products.
Now, with the dry or with the liquid, does it, I'm used to having those little bombs that you can set off inside of the house, little bug bombs or something like that, and then they require or recommend being out, I think, like 12 or 24 hours or something like that. Is it the same type of setup with you all? If you come in and do a treatment, do we have to stay out of our house for a certain amount of time?
Again, that's going back to depending on what kind of treatment you're doing. Some houses or some treatments do require where we do a fumigation or some require products that will mess with the lungs a little bit, so it does require a little evacuation for a period of time. But for the most maintenance, spraying and all that, you're welcome to be present at time of service. Pets, children, all of that is completely fine.
And then so the people with pets, they're not going to, I know you don't want to directly ingest anything, but dogs lick, they eat, and different things like that. Is there a potential harm for any of this stuff, like, a curing time or anything, before you would allow a pet to come around it? Like, let's just say the baseboard spray or something like that. You want to keep them away from it or outside for any amount of time?
We obviously don't want them licking the actual product, but if by chance they do, with it being diluted in water base, the actual amount that they would consume is non-lethal, but just on the chance, if we are applying something and if there is a case, old dogs with health issues, we're still observant and we take extra precaution just in case. Nothing's a guarantee, of course, but we'll take those extra precautions. But for the most part, everything that we do, if it's applied, according to labels, you'll be fine.
All right. When I had being that you told me that I have bugs in my house, which I hadn't really.
I think you're getting worried.
I got them. Yep.
Yeah. So how do you know what bugs I have in my house, being that I've not seen any bugs in my house?
Well, because bugs are outside.
Mm-hmm.
A house basically resembles an artificial tree in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
A hiding spot for a lot of insects. So they're going to find spots inside of wall voids and, just to escape from the elements.
Mm-hmm.
And so, of course, there's going to be predator insects that are looking to eat those other insects too. So those are going to be in your house too on the hunt for those insects. But all these insects I'm referring to want absolutely nothing to do with us.
Except you can just let him know, now you have bugs, and now you have hunting bugs in there too, trying to find them.
Well, I'll tell you, those creepy centipedes you don't like, they're your best friend.
Really?
Yeah. They're hunting all those other insects around your house for you. So if you
I have seen them jokers in my basement.
Yeah. So if you didn't,
silverfish.
If you didn't have them, you'd have a whole lot more of the roly-polies you keep bringing up too.
James brought the roly-polies.
Oh,
I don't have them in my house that I know of. Maybe I do.
Now, how long does it take to what's the word that you used? You didn't say eradicate, or is that what you guys actually do?
Control is the word.
How long does it take to control them, to get the pests down? And I know it's gonna vary between different types of pests. For example, you mentioned bed bugs and roaches and stuff like that are going to be the more harder ones. But what's the typical house going to take to eliminate them?
Let's say, just for conversation, let's say you're just dealing with the standard house and cellar spiders. It's a very common household pest. Simple spraying around the baseboards. We do one initial service. We come back in 2 weeks to do a follow-up application, and then once that, I've never heard a complaint. Dealing with some general pests like that, they're very easy to control and maintain. Keep them on the outside. Once we get rid of them on the inside, then we'll keep a constant barrier around the exterior and keep any potential bugs from coming in.
Is that a two-stage process? So
No.
do you have to? So
No,
you can do the interior barrier and
Yes.
then also do the exterior barrier at the same time?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Now, what can a homeowner do for preparation? Say you're going to come out to my house and you're going to do the baseboard treatment and things like that. What can a homeowner do to help you with your job, to help you be more efficient at my house?
Well, of course, keeping items away from the baseboards as best as possible. I'm not talking about center mass in the room, but I'm just talking keeping them an inch or two away from the baseboards, making it accessible for us to get to our sprayers back there. Excuse me. That'll be the easiest way. Another thing too is if they feel they need any specific treatments, such as backs of closets or underneath sinks and cabinets, we would ask them to clear those areas out so that we could get in those areas. But those are all, on-site decisions. But it's not
Right.
we have to decide
Now,
over the phone.
with houses that have a crawl space, do y'all do any sort of treatment in the crawl space?
Oh God, yeah.
I know. I've seen some nasty stuff in crawl spaces.
Well, me being the little guy, which going back to being intimidating, is fun. But yeah, I get to experience all the fun crawl spaces. So yeah, we do work down in there just as much as we do in the main floors.
Now, I'm not a claustrophobic person. I don't feel trapped when I'm in places. Now, I am the kind of person that if, and this has happened to me, so why I don't go in crawl spaces anymore. If I get down there and get face to face with something I don't like, I like to run.
Yeah.
I don't like to crawl.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely more power to. What's the craziest thing you've seen in a crawl space?
Well, in a crawl space, I would say a family of possums. Only because it's not scary, but when you're crawling through a very tight crawl space, there was some fallen insulation, and I got about 2 feet away from that insulation, and then 4 heads popped up out of it. So, and it was a tight crawl space, so there was no quick getaway. So yeah, I was, messing my britches a little bit.
What about skunks? You ever seen any skunks in there?
No, thank God. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't know what to do.
See now, and you mentioned earlier about reptiles. I am not a fan, and that is what I ran into in a crawl space. And in fact, I'll be completely transparent. I didn't actually see it. I just saw its skin, which was enough to let me know it was there at one point in time.
Yep.
So I didn't take any chances.
No, I'm the same way when it comes to reptiles too, especially enclosed areas. Out in the open through the woods, they don't bother me, but yeah.
Yeah, when you can run.
Yeah, when you can run, exactly. Now, we do have one crazy guy that works with us that is willing to address snake issues, but yeah, that's not us.
I've actually seen them get wrapped up inside of the cables and drums on a garage door before.
Ooh, okay.
And still be alive.
Oh, really?
And you show up out there for a service call, and I'm like, oh man, now I know who to call. I can use that
Don't
excuse
ask for
real
me.
quick. Ask for Jeff.
Yeah.
You'll just point them in the right direction.
Right.
Yeah, that's it's a little different running into stuff like that, and I'm in the garage door industry for a reason. It just takes a like you said when you first came on, you never knew that you were going to be a bug guy, and then here you are dealing with all this kind of stuff. It's definitely takes somebody different. Go ahead.
I was going to say, well, here's your $1 million idea with garage doors. If you could figure out what to do with those corners to keep the mice from getting in, you'll never have to work a day in your life.
I'm going to let that be your $1 million idea.
Right.
We've had numerous people trying to get on that, and I tell people all the time, and then, for your own knowledge too, it's not like an entry or an exit door. They will never be 100% sealed. We can get as close as possible, but it's extremely difficult for rodents, bugs, water, different things like that. And there are some remedies we can do, but yeah, it'll never be 100%. But I might look into it. See if I can.
That's kind of our Achilles heel when it comes to addressing rodents. So.
What about termites?
Oh yeah, I can't wait. Spring's around the corner, man. They're coming.
So, I'm assuming I don't really know a lot about a termite other than I know it's a kiss of death if you're trying to sell a house.
Yeah.
So, where does a termite live? What's their life cycle? How does all that work?
Well, I'm going to keep it on Kentucky.
Okay.
There's a couple different species of termite out there, but what we're dealing with here is subterranean termites.
Okay.
So these are termites that strictly live underground.
All right.
They only come above surface just to feed. And then they'll have the swarming ones, which is springtime. That's what gets us all excited.
Right.
Those are the elites, basically the potential queens of future colonies. But yeah, termites will live underground. They'll come up through your subfloors, into your walls, in your crawl spaces, basements. Like you said.
Right. So when you say they only come up to feed, do they come up and eat and then go back down for the night, or how?
Oh no, they're working around the clock.
Okay.
Yeah, I wish they took time off.
You probably don't wish they took time off. You don't have to lie.
Right.
Speaking of coming up out of the ground, isn't this year the year for the Brood cicada?
That's what I'm reading.
Is that something? I don't think there's anything y'all can do about that, is there?
No, just sit back and enjoy it.
Yeah, I actually now, do they pose any kind of threat towards the home? or anything
No,
like that?
no, that's nothing to worry about.
So they mainly just stay. I mean, I know those things are huge.
They're huge.
Because I remember them. I was in what is it, like 17, 20 years or something like that?
17, yeah.
I was in high school. No, I was in middle school the last time that those things came around, and they are ear deafening.
Now, you know the whole story behind that, don't you?
I do not.
Why every 17 years it's bad?
I don't know, but you're the bug guy and you know bugs.
I like to share it because it's an article I read. Well, basically, there's so many different species of cicada.
Yes.
And through years of evolution, they have actually changed their cycles so that they don't cross paths. So one species will go every 7 years, one will go every 9 years, some will do 11 years. And so that way they don't ever cross paths when it comes time to come out of the ground and mate.
Mm-hmm.
Well, every 17 years, those paths will cross, they all fall in line together, and so then we get hit with that mass swarm of them.
That's why there's so many.
Yeah.
Well, and seeing this particular one that comes out is the biggest one out of all of them too, isn't it?
There's going to be a bunch of different ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is pretty interesting. Yeah. So, do y'all field calls about that?
No, we haven't. We could, but I wouldn't.
Well, I mean, like, do people call in just kind of wanting it taken care of?
Not to my knowledge, no. I mean, if it was, it would be just something we would consult over the phone.
Right.
You know,
now, part of the consulting, do you all offer any type of like written estimates or like a layout of treatment options or anything like that?
All the time. Yeah, absolutely. We go out there, we assess the situation, and then we draw up a plan that works best for you.
So back to the termite deal. I've seen there's a lot of different ways that people attempt to control them. I was trying to remember the proper word, not eradicate or kill.
Yeah.
So what do you all, I mean, what's your method of getting rid of termites?
Oh, I thought you were about to hit me with some home remedies.
No,
I've heard a bunch and they're funny.
Oh, no.
But anyway, well, I'm getting the feeling you don't like my blunt honesty too much because it's been fearing you.
Oh, no.
Here's another fact you're not going to like.
Okay.
Everybody has termites
Right.
on their lots. The rule is that there's an average 2 to 3 termite colonies per lot.
Okay.
So it's not about...
A lot being like a half an acre or...
Well, what's an average lot size? About a half acre?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd say that, yeah. But that's the saying, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not about if they find the house, it's about when.
Okay.
So that's inevitable. Every house is going to have termites at least one time in its life.
I always heard that that they could only like travel up so much concrete, or they could only travel up, so much in treated material. Is there any truth to that? Or...
I've seen them go up to a 3rd floor attic before. Yeah,
And they didn't eat their way up? They started on the 3rd floor?
No. They went all the way up through the wall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they'll make these little mud tubes and they'll just bypass whatever they don't want and go right what they do want.
Huh.
And then, of course, there is a possibility, too, with, moisture issues in houses. Those swarming termites can go and colonize above ground if the moisture level is high enough.
That would probably not be a good day for your house.
No.
Now, how would you go about determining if you have termites or not? For example, like on a finished house.
Mm-hmm.
How do you know if they have termites?
Well, termites eat wood, and drywall does have that one thin line of paper on it, and they will eat that. So something on a finished house, you would look for a little bubbling on the drywall, and those usually indicate the soft spots, and you just poke it with your finger and it'll right through.
Termites.
Termites.
Vince is going to be building a concrete
No,
house.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We've had termite issues, not where we
Concrete
live
steel.
now, but we've had them in the past, and I've sold enough houses that I know that is an absolute nightmare when they send the home inspector, and the home inspector says you have termites in your mulch, or you have,
Right.
and then the moment that the word termites mentioned, it's a problem, big problem.
Yep.
And then people like Jeff come in there and take care of it.
And bringing up termites, when do y'all work with any kind of like home inspector or anything like that doing the actual inspection, or is that something the home inspector does?
No, we work with real estate all the time because not only do the home inspectors got to fill out their reports, but we actually have to fill out what's called a WDI report.
Mm-hmm.
or actually a WDO organism is what they go by now, a wood destroying organism report, and that's required within real estate and selling a house.
So that would cover the carpenter bees as well.
Correct, yes.
Now-
And carpenter ants as well. Anything that destroys any wood. Wood boring beetles.
We've had that issue before.
Mm-hmm.
Can you cover that hole and kill them, or what? I mean, I've heard the home remedies. I mean, what's
No,
the truth?
that's a requirement.
Okay.
You definitely want to cover those holes because
Shoot them with caulk or something? Or?
yeah,
Great stuff.
I just say
There you go, great
wood,
stuff.
wood putty. Yeah.
That's
I
you're
tell you-
torturing them.
I tell you what you
You're
don't
would-be
want to do.
torture.
Actually, I'll tell you, you can do this now. So I just want to see you to do this.
You want to film me?
You can go buy you a 4x4 post. You can
Uh-huh.
cut it at an angle. You can drill holes in it. You can screw this nice little mason jar in it. You can take all the advice of catching a couple of dead ones and put them in there to attract them for it not to work. And I'm still sitting out there with a fly swatter or a tennis racket catching them things every time they come by.
What kind of wood did you make it out of?
I don't know. I followed a YouTube video
The wrong
and it,
wood-
and
the
it didn't
wrong
work.
one.
I tell you the wood that I didn't use was the Bright Pest Control. That's what I should have done. Yeah.
If it was cedar, that's probably why. Cedar.
So it makes a difference on what type of wood that you would use?
Absolutely, yeah. Insects are very picky when they're building a home.
Okay, I'm taking
Or
my notes.
destroying a home.
I might try
Or
this one more time.
destroying, yeah.
I might try it one more time. I don't think I'm.
No, I mean, if you want, you can go to hardware stores and they do sell those
Well, that
pre-made.
takes away me actually having a project on the weekend.
So-
Or giving you the opportunity. Can I take a look at it?
You know,
but anyway, yes, you do want to plug up those holes because if you don't plug up those holes, you just kill the bees that are living in them.
Mm-hmm.
Next season, you're just going to get another one looking at that as a prefabbed home.
Okay.
Easy to move in.
So what, you bring up the hardware store. So what is the difference between me going and buy chemicals that say kills everything at the Lowe's or versus what you're using?
Oh, please, come on. You're never going to get even close to what we use in the field. That's just a fact because
All right.
the reality is you need to be certified to use some of these products,
Mm-hmm.
and for legal reasons, it's safety issues.
What does that certification process look like?
Well, it's about a 3-month training process of
Mm-hmm.
learning to handle all the materials, learning about the insects, of course.
Right.
But then also you got to learn about all the labels and dangers.
They have a bug school, or I've not seen one of them advertised before.
It's called entomology. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a big field. No, this
Hit
is
you with a $10 word right there.
this is right. This is it's a course that we do through the Department of Agriculture.
Okay.
And they get us all set up and certified.
All right.
Now, is that like in most trades that you see? So, do you have someone that would carry like a master certification and everybody can operate underneath it, or does each and every employee in your company have to go through that certification?
There is both. There is kind of like that master certification. I can't off the top of my head remember what it's called, but there is one that the owner does have, and that allows him to be an operator of a company.
Mm-hmm.
And then from downward, then the technicians have to have their own separate certifications. And then also, we are required to attend these seminars in order to maintain a certain credits number in order to keep our certification.
Kind of like a refresher course.
Yeah, I mean,
Continuing ed.
they're constantly changing the rules and all of that, and so we got to keeping us on our toes, and so we got to stay accurate and up to date.
Now, is there anything that is sold in stores that you would not recommend? For example, like, is there a chemical or a pesticide that you all use that would be better over something that they would have there, or something that they could have that's just a little bit more harmful than you would recommend?
I mean, nothing off the top of my head, no. It's just, I can't stress enough about applying it properly and safely. Just make sure you read the labels. The labels will tell you exactly how to apply it and everything without causing harm. Because the reality is yeah, you're using poison.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Now, on the DIY topic, now one thing that I do like is I do like the fact that y'all offer these maintenance. Is it a maintenance plan or is it like a membership? Like, can we prepay or anything like that for a certain amount of time?
of course we always accept prepaid, but no, it's just a maintenance program. You just pay at time of service for the most part.
Does it cover like every bug, or is it only one bug? Or
We categorize about 12 different general insects as a general pest and we'll incorporate that into a contract. And then if you need any additional specialty insects included, then we'll.
So termites are separate from everything else?
Definitely. Yeah, that's its own contract.
All right.
Yeah.
But you can run them on top of each other, like in line with the other one, though.
Oh yeah, we'll do a maintenance program once every 3 months, and then with termites, we'll do an annual renewal.
So, having one, let's just say it's pesticide A and the other one's pesticide B. The two of them won't kind of offset or affect anything.
No, especially like if you're thinking with a termite treatment as to a pest control spray.
Correct.
Termite treatment, we're going to be focusing on injecting the product into the soil, whereas with a pest control treatment, we're going to be focusing on the surface. So
Got it.
they'll never run into each other.
So what I was saying was, the DIY, and like I said, I really like the whole maintenance aspect of it, because in the service industry, I like making sure that things are kept up to date and that everything is being serviced properly. But there's always going to be that DIYer out there. Is there any one specific thing that we could do, or that a homeowner could do in between treatments, or just on their own, that could potentially help out the house?
Well, a lot of people like to buy the over-the-counter sprays just for indoor-outdoor use, and that's fine and all, but we don't really.
It's not nearly going to be as good as what you do.
It's not going to be as good, and we don't really recommend it because it could counteract what we're putting down. If you're spraying something on top of what we're putting down, it's not necessarily going to be as successful.
Oh, that definitely makes sense.
Yeah. So we try to ask people to stay away from that. Now, we will, of course, give recommendations as far as any kind of mechanical alterations, such as maybe caulk this void here or seal up this hole there. We'll make suggestions like that they can do.
Is there a difference in how long your product versus a box store's product, the timeline? Is there a difference in how long yours will last versus theirs?
Oh, most definitely. The residual effect is far longer with our product compared to the over-the-counter. You'll definitely have to apply the over-the-counter a lot more frequently in order to get the same results.
So how long does your product last? Now, I know you mentioned termites, and you want to do that annually. I mean, is there any recommendation? Would you want to go every 2 years or anything like that?
Well, no, you don't want to extend it anything past a year, because anything past a year, they can do some excessive damage. And just because there is product in the ground, we're talking with a million-year-old insect here that's, it's going to find a way around it eventually. And so that's why we keep the warranty going. So if we do need to come out and do a retreat, then you're covered. And
How does that warranty work? So you come out and spray it, and I go, Jeff, I just saw a bug.
Yeah.
What happens?
I say, is it dead? And you say, yeah. I say, awesome, it's doing its job. Have a good day.
All right. But what if it is crawling?
If it's crawling, then I'll say,
Is it crawling slow?
Yeah.
Is it dying?
Took the words right out of my mouth.
I don't know.
Ask it how it's feeling. No, that's exactly why I'm looking to expand the consulting, because people, some people do expect instant results, and that's just not a reality anymore.
Okay.
So sometimes I got to be available just to explain to them what's going on.
Okay. But on termites, how does that warranty work? So you come out and I pay you whatever it is to treat it, and termites chew my house down. What happens?
Well, they shouldn't chew your house down if you've treated for one.
But I guess really the answer is is there a guarantee on that, or
Well, we warranty our service for a year.
Okay.
Anything past that, then it's up to you to extend the warranty annually. And what we'll do is we'll come out annually, re-inspect the house to see if the termites have returned.
Okay.
And of course, if we find them, we will retreat. But that going said, we're only coming out once a year, so it is up to the homeowner. If they happen to notice anything during that year that looks suspicious, some people get their termite treatments renewed in the wintertime. Come springtime, the swarm of termites come out of the ground, and
Right.
So they're welcome to give us a call any time of year if they notice something.
Right.
But we'll come out once a year and inspect and see what's going on.
So based on what you said, is there a better time to treat for anything? So termites, what's the best time that me as a homeowner should call you and say, hey, I'm ready for my treatment?
I would definitely recommend springtime, because that's when they're most active.
And what about the other treatments that you have, like your standard roly-poly bugs, ants, anything like that? When should we get treated for that?
Well, that all depends. Every house is different. You live in the house, so you need to kind of ask yourself, what kind of issues am I reoccurring every spring, summer, fall, winter? And then you got to kind of figure it out from there. So if every springtime you got some ants coming out of the ground and they're invading your kitchen, try to be a little proactive about it. If you know they're coming, give us a call about a month ahead of time. We'll come out and we'll get some product down, and we'll try to nip it in the butt before it becomes an issue.
Now is
Can I say butt? No, just
you can if you want.
right.
Say whatever you want.
We can't stop you. We're not. You're in here. We're here with you today. What is a worm a pest? And the reason why I ask is, in my house, that is the only thing that I get. I'll just go walking through my house, and there'll be a worm just scooting across the floor. Now, it may have come in on a pair of shoes, or it may have come in some other way. I'm not sure how a worm gets in there, but is that something that you guys deal with or look at?
God, I knew it'd be you.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Worms.
That's what you get for scaring Vince. Though.
Right. I have never had that question asked me before. Worms is not something, no, we do. We don't do that. I would definitely recommend working on a way to address moisture issues in your yard if you're having an issue with worms.
No. They're in my house.
Well, they're coming from outside.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care if they're outside.
They're not living in your house. Now, do you have a crawl space?
Nope, I'm on the basement.
You're on a basement. Does your basement flood?
It does not.
Do you have standing water out on the exterior walls of your house?
I did.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
And since then, you're still getting worms?
No, I only had one.
Oh.
But he was just in there, just kind of rolling around.
Just chilling.
But I've seen it in other houses before. I didn't know if that's something, You've been doing this for 8 years. I figured you would have somebody call you and tell you there's a worm in their house.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
That goes right up there with the bedbug paratroopers I heard about, too.
The bedbug paratroopers?
Yeah. I had this one customer.
Jumping off the canopies?
She thought that birds were flying over her house dropping bedbugs on them. And that's how she got them. So your question went right up there with that. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'll come up with another one.
Please. I love it.
Go ahead, Vince.
So let's talk
take a
bed
break.
bugs for a second.
All right.
So where do they come from? Where do they live? What do you do to get rid of them? I mean, all I know is I'm scared to go to a hotel.
Well, I'll tell you this much. 8 years ago, it was nothing but a children's story. Don't let the bed bugs bite. I didn't even know these things were real.
Right.
It scared the hell out of me when I found out they were real. But they are our master hitchhikers.
Okay.
Depending on how far down the rabbit hole you're willing to go, I can scare the hell out of you with some stories. But they are nothing to take lightly. And we are very skilled, and we can definitely address your house and save you from a nightmare.
I mean, other than, I guess, seeing a bug, how do you know you have bed bugs?
Well, people react differently to bites, but a lot of people will notice bites on their body. The bug itself will be in your bed. You'll notice some black spots suddenly appearing on your mattress, your pillows, areas like that.
Say I go to a hotel, I bring some bed bugs back. Do they just stay in the bed? They don't live anywhere else typically in the house? Or what?
No, they'll follow you around.
Okay.
They'll be in your bed, they'll be on your couch, chair, wherever you spend majority of your time. Their basically goal is to stick close to the food source.
Okay, which is meat.
Yeah.
You're making me itch.
Yep.
I'm all over the place right now.
So, what's the process of, because I assume or not assume, I want them eradicated if I got
No, that is something where I'll take that exterminator word with pride. Yeah,
Okay.
We will eradicate and exterminate that problem.
Do people have to move out or what?
No,
Okay.
no, they don't have to move out. There is an extensive amount of prep work involved, and that is something where they do have to leave for a period of time because we do fumigation, and so we go full guns.
Okay.
How long does that process take? We call you today, and we've got bed bugs in our house, and it's they're starting to take over. How long would it take from the time that you guys actually get there to start your prep work to finishing of us walking back in our house?
Well, on average, I'll tell you a month. That's on average. But the reality is that it's a teamwork. Sure, you're hiring us to come and do the treatment and everything, but it still is a teamwork. There is a laundry list of items that we ask the customer to handle, such as vacuuming and laundering of clothes and all that. So if you can get a good teamwork together, then it should be no problem getting rid of the issue.
And now,
do you have to throw away your couch or bed or anything?
No. People are real quick to do that. We're very good at saving furniture.
Okay.
now what about so that month time frame? Is that multiple treatments, or do I need to be? Am I out of my house for a month?
No. It's 3 treatments in a month time. Initial service you would have to vacate for, and then we would come back in 2-week follow-ups, and those both you can stay present for.
So the initial service is what, 24 hours or something like that?
No, we only ask for 4 hours after treatment, providing that there's no respiratory issues.
Okay.
I guess you like fog the whole house? Is that the deal?
Yeah. It's not a fog of the whole house. It's more of a crack and crevice fumigation. We're trying to flush the insect out of their hiding spots, not because they're not in the open air area,
Right.
So we're not so worried about getting it there.
Right. There now let me ask you this, because you're in this world and we're on this topic.
Yeah.
And Vince brought it up. When we do go to hotels, I've always inspected the edge of the pillows and stuff like that. Where should we look for them and why, so that we can avoid bringing them back to our house?
Well, first thing I do whenever I go into a hotel room is I will go right to the headboard area, the head of the bed. If there is a headboard, I will quickly inspect the headboard, but then I'll also peel back the corners of the sheets and
then
all
look
that,
at the seams?
and look at the seams of the mattress. Those are going to be usually your quick telltale signs. Other than that, another thing that I do is if they have one of those racks, I'll put my suitcase on one of the racks, either that or just throw it right into the shower. Bed bugs, they can't climb porcelain. They don't have any little stickies on their paws or nothing, so they can't climb or nothing like that, so your stuff will be safe in there. And then, of
I've never
course,
heard that before.
I haven't either.
Yeah.
Learning all kinds of stuff today.
Right?
So you say, and I've seen this on here, and you mentioned earlier, you say that y'all are into the community. What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, we're into the community in many different ways. We've supported some local restaurants around the Highland areas. We do a couple different charitable organizations where we help out. I don't know if I'm allowed to list them or not, but we help out in different areas with some charitable organizations, and then we adopt families for the holidays. We try to give back in any way we can, and then also, there's a handful of times too where we encounter some customers that are just on really hard times, but they got an issue. We'll give out some golden tickets every now and then too, and just to help people.
Absolutely. No, I couldn't agree with you more. And just because I heard you just talk about it, restaurants. Do y'all work with any type of restaurants or anything, as far as servicing them or putting them on plans?
Yeah, we have all sorts of restaurants, and I don't say that to make you think that all these different restaurants are having issues. It's nothing like that. We just keep maintenance programs on a lot of restaurants in order when the health department comes through, they can see that something's being done, and they're just tickled pink. So
right. Well, for a lot of our listeners that might own or work in restaurants, they can contact you about that as well.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
I'm going to take a wild guess and say there's probably not a restaurant without bugs based off of his earlier statement about my house.
Yeah, that's a fact. But now we're talking about food product pests and stuff like that, and roaches and nasty stuff. Those are the ones that we're going to keep well under control, not the spiders and centipedes that you're worried about.
So in the roach situation, is that like a weekly treatment there, or how does that work?
No, we would do a monthly maintenance on that because we do got to allow the product some time to work. The stuff that's used today is not instant kill, so you do have to allow some time to go.
All right.
Now, what about things like bees and wasps? I know you mentioned like the carpenter bugs, but do do any kind of like maintenance plans or any treatments that would cover stinging insects?
We do have a few customers that like to have a preventative spray, like as their maintenance program, have that insect included on their maintenance program. But the reality is we really only address those problems as they occur. Now, in the springtime, yeah, there's some houses where, hey, I get wasps every year around the eaves of my house. And so in those kind of cases, I'll sell like a preventative, maintenance and just do a one-time spray around the exterior, and that'll keep them from being able to nest.
Now, do you spray that on the ground, or are you spraying around the actual openings of the doorways and things like that?
Yeah, we're spraying it anywhere that they might see as a potential nesting area.
Awesome.
So that way, if they land there, they're going to get infected with the product.
Now, I know you mentioned that you guys do like light rodents and stuff like that, like the mice and stuff.
Sure.
Do you all do anything with like birds?
No.
So no like bird deflection or nothing like that?
No, nothing.
Okay.
I mean, there are pest control companies that do that,
Sure.
but we're just not one of them.
I just use zip ties and tie them around my lights so that they don't land on them.
I have seen people get pretty creative.
They don't land on
I
them.
applaud your ingenuity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about mosquitoes? Because that seems to be the big hot item. I see yard signs everywhere about ridding mosquitoes.
You might get me in trouble here.
All right, well, that's what I'm all about.
All right. Mosquitoes is something we definitely do.
Mm-hmm.
We will do a monthly maintenance program where we will come out and we'll spray your yard, your trees, your bushes, everything. That way when mosquitoes come and land, they're going to die. Also, we will point out any kind of standing water areas, any kind of nesting areas that they might want to reproduce in and have you eradicate them. But the reality is that we would only be treating your yard, your neighbor's yard, your neighbor's yard. They can fly. So the reality is we would more or less be putting a Band-Aid on a broken leg. Like that's that's why I'm going to get in trouble. So I always recommend though, as far as mosquito treatments go, if you're going to have a barbecue over the weekend, invite some friends and family over, give us a call. We'll come out. We'll hit that the day before, and you're going to be able to enjoy your backyard undisturbed.
Do they live in the grass, I guess? Or where's the mosquito live?
Anywhere that there is, they prefer standing water, but if there's a moist enough soil, they'll also reproduce in that too.
Very interesting. Now, what about, so earlier you mentioned kind of taking them as an as needed basis. So
Yes.
if once you figure out that you've got like a wasp or problem, something like that you come out and take care of it. Now, touching back on the termites and the other stuff on the inside, is that something that you would recommend a homeowner being proactive and going ahead and starting that annual treatment now, or is that something that you say, hey, you're not having any issues, let's wait until you do and then start it?
Well, when it comes to things like termites, that's something that, in my belief, it's inevitable. If you haven't had them, you're going to get them eventually. And so I always recommend that's kind of standard to have with being a homeowner. You have your homeowner's insurance, you've got your termite protection, warranty. Like that's just comes standard to me. Now, as far as the other pests go, that's on a base by base scenario on whatever your comfort level is and what you would like. The reality is, yes, there's going to be insects in your home, and it's just about if you want them there or not. That's the reality.
Now,
I prefer not to have them.
Yeah, so you would be a weekly customer.
and where he lives at, he's got a lot of woods.
W-E-A-K or E-E-K?
Yeah, we don't even do that, but we would make that for you.
Where he lives, he's also got he's around a lot of woods, so I'm assuming that he's
Yeah.
probably got a lot of those big wolf spiders that are out there, or those wood spiders. They live in wood,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
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 Yeah, those are not my friends either.
Don't want to say it, but maybe some brown recluse too. Yeah, that could be fun.
I've not seen too many spiders since we moved in. Now, while we were building, there were several of those gigantic jokers. I mean,
Now-
my wife had a heart attack.
Now those ones again are your friend.
Right.
Those are they're gonna keep the other insects.
The
down.
one that I saw is not my friend any longer.
The one that I saw
He
either.
was exterminated.
Yeah, let's say, I'll wait until you finish taking your drink there. You will never guess where I was and what I was doing. I'll just tell you where I was. when this big wolf spider come crawling out of my vent register. I was in the bathroom.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't
Did
have to
you
go
run?
anymore. He was done.
I didn't run. I waddled. So I had to tell you, kind of set the story up there. So what's the best way for potential homeowners? Well, not potential homeowners, but potential clients that's wanting to get in contact with you. What's the best way that they can get in touch with you?
Phone is the easiest. Of course, we do have a website.